welcome you all to this panel discussion from Degree to Desk, Building Employability through Work-Linked Learning. India faces a significant challenge where a large proportion of its graduates are not employable. This gap arises because graduates, despite holding degrees, often lack the practical skills required to secure employment and add value to organizations. The education system, the traditional education system often falls short in equipping students with real-world experience and industry-specific skills demanded by today's job market. So today, through this panel discussion, we want to address this issue by exploring the transformative potential of work-linked learning. On the panel, we have Dr. K. Satyanarayan Reddy. He's the VC of Srinivas University. And we have Mr. Amit Jawar, who is VP Sales, Patanjali Foods. And moderating this discussion is Shantanu, Rooj, founder and CEO of TeamLease EdTech. Shantanu, I hand over to you to continue with the discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Apurv. And it's such a pleasure speaking to both of you, Satyanarayan sir and Mr. Jawar. Pleasure talking to you and having you here on this panel today. My first question to both of you, maybe I'd like to hear both of your perspectives one by one, starting with you, Satyanarayan sir, is the world of work has been changing over the last few years, and it has been changing very, very fast, much faster than we all thought it would. The hiring pattern.
Okay. Yeah, please continue.
The hiring patterns and the requirement and needs of the hiring manager has also started changing. Something that I've noticed in the last few years is that today's employer are just not happy with education and skills. They also want some evidence of experience, even from a fresher. They want to enroll people. They want to employ people who have some sort of practical hands-on experience and learning. That's what I've started noticing. How do you think, Satyanarayan sir, and then I'm going to come back to Mr. Jawar with the same question. What is your opinion? Is that right? I mean, is expecting work experience from a fresher, is it something that's too much to ask, or is there a solution in between?
Yeah, so Shantanu ji and Jawar ji, very good afternoon. And I am thankful to the team leads for having invited me to be one of the members on the panel. So I would like to throw some light on current education system. Most of the places in India, actually, we should go back to the British era, where the British people wanted only clerks to be generated. And they introduced the concept of theoretical learning. I mean to say, you learn about theory, you hear somebody and start taking notes and kind of scenario and, read certain text, you should be able to understand and all. So it was not concentrating much on skilling a person. Like if you see the Gurukul system, where the students used to enroll at the age of 8 until 25, they used to be there with the Guru in the Gurukul system, and they would learn almost around 36 different techniques and master 4 or 5 out of them. So this was the level of skill the students used to develop in Gurukul, and when they go to some kind of king's darbar, there they will find employment, because they would, have a kind of develop highly skilled ability to, solve problems of the world. So this was the scenario that British came and changed, and we still are, sticking to that theoretical knowledge. Less importance is given to practical knowledge. So now what industry is requiring nowadays is everywhere. If you see, equipments are there, technology is there, and they want skilled people who can handle this, because you see, if they start training the graduates from engineering or some other discipline, whatever you take, it involves huge, what I meant to say, economic burden for the university. So what I suggest is that here in India, I'm talking of Indian scenario, industry want that students should be skilled, but I take it way around, and our educational institutions are planning that students should go to industry and take internship and all. I have a different view. To be very frank, industry must identify the institute which are accredited by NAC, NBA, and all. They should come and start skilling the people at the colleges, and technical skills what is required for their industry. They know they should select some good students right from first year, start training them on their technology, on their equipments, on their methodology, on their processes in their chosen field. And colleges should create an environment for effective such usage. Then students are also expected to be very good in transferable skills like proficiency in communication, teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking, digital literacy. All these can be taken by college along with theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. And at the same time, during those 3 or 4 years of their graduation, study in graduation, they should learn some personal qualities. The student should develop some personal qualities with some guidance called as adaptability. Any situation comes, they should be able to adapt to that particular technology. Any new technology comes, any new equipment comes, or new process comes, they should be able to adapt and learn it fast. They should be resilient. They should take initiative going forward and learning, and they should also develop a strong work ethic. You got the idea, which is very vital, especially in the face of automation, global change, etc. So this way, I think students can be made more employable if industries directly partner with the institute by going to their campus rather than conducting campus interviews at the fag end when the students are about to graduate. So this is my personal opinion.
Interesting, Mr. Jawar. Now, let's look at this problem from your lens. When you are hiring hundreds of youth today across the country for your function, what traits are you looking for? And what is your expectation? What is your role? How are you seeing this problem actually?
So I think, first of all, I think thank you, Satyan. You have broadly covered most of the point, but I'll try and put up three. Spoke about knowledge, which I think myself as a product of most of the B schools, I think, and I've studied from two B schools, one engineering college. So now, when I did my engineering, generally we were degree holders. When we came out, we were degree holders. We didn't know how to use the way what has been taught for 4 years and how do we want to eventually do it. And this I still find remains the same from last 2008 till 2024. Nothing has changed. Today also when I speak with many engineering graduates or maybe MBA graduates, they are looking forward to a job. The most important things which many people miss is skills. You spoke about all these skills which we need, but the third is the value set. Till the time they don't get the value set right, people don't proceed further. I will tell you myself, resilient and all this, it looks good. But I have seen एक धक्का पड़ता है, people immediately I am not able to do this, I am not able to do this, and they eventually move out. People change the careers like anything. People will move from banking to maybe a FMCG to an insurance to an consulting. See, you don't change basis your values. When I chose sales and marketing during my MBA, I was very clear that these are the set of values. Being a Marwadi, I've seen my father doing the business for 20 years. This is the set of business which I can do. This is the set of role which I can do. So first is identifying right set of values in every individual. That's a college core part. कि उनको पता है they have taken this guide into their गुरुकुल. तो ये अर्जुन बनेगा, ये युधिष्ठिर बनेगा, भीम बनेगा. वो बनेगा क्या पहले? तो उसके बाद देन सेकंड पार्ट कम कि उसको भीम को ट्रेनिंग देने के लिए किस टाइप का गुरु चाहिए. तो वो गुरु इंडस्ट्री से आएगा या हमारे अंदर है लोग. दिस इज द सेकंड पार्ट. So when you're classified people into different set of values, कि this guy is, and I will tell you myself, Shantanu ji, I was typically an Hindi medium guy who would have studied over the years only Hindi medium. When I landed in engineering, I was totally different. The world was different. I was fighting with the DPS RK Puram, DPS Mathura Road in India's top engineering college, where I was struggling to find how do I do. My teachers would always think I was a first bencher moved to last bencher in exact 6 months duration. So that's how our India's degree holder or economic this college system runs now. Coming to how do we want to make them more employable and from industry side. See, first challenges what we see. See, सबसे पहले तो it has become very evident nowadays that if this is not my forte, I will not learn it. Trust me, when I would have started, Satyajit, or you would have started, we didn't know many things in our domain, but we would have learned it in a hard way. We would have spent hours to understand something. But today, when I interact with the young grads, I find them they have a set specific knowledge. We will not scale up beyond this. That's not how anything progresses. If a MLA wants to become an MP, MP wants to become a cabinet minister, he has to diversify himself. Every organization wants to diversify his skill set. So somewhere, which I find is the most important thing, is getting the right set of people with right values and then eventually diversifying them in the knowledge set. I think adaptability, resilience, leadership, team collaboration, all these are set of values which someone has to learn. Now, how do I do is I personally believe that when an industry goes to a college, I think this is a mutual partnership. College thinks that industry वाले placement के लिए आ जाएं और ये बोले कि हमको भी एक लड़के मिल जाए. Tick mark activity if we'll do ना, then this will be purely tick mark activity. I have never seen any big colleges, earlier IIMs and IITs still they used to do, but any tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, getting in touch with significant amount of industry academia and there is a proper collaboration. What we need to do, how do we need to craft a sales and marketing role? What are different set of live projects which I need to run in this my curriculum? Curriculum has been set dated back, same books have been running. 4 P's of marketing will become 7 P's, some professor will write it eventually. बट कोई भी चलता नहीं है जब रियल वर्ल्ड में जाके व्हेन यू स्टार्ट इन दिल्ली का सदर बाजार और इन बैंगलोर का केआरपुरम मार्केट nothing will work well because that's where the real practical learnings get into the field and that's where I think the fresh grads na they falter big time because values नहीं है skill set तो डिग्री मिल गया but eventually जो तीसरा चीज था इंडस्ट्री के साथ टाई अप होके which they have to bring in the result orientedness they didn't come. Other than this I think it is more about getting everyone has to think मतलब every student who is studying, he should also understand that the real world problems will be multi skill set required. One cannot survive with a single skill sets going forward. If I do sales, I was always running away from balance sheets and P&L during my graduation. But eventually I understood this is the core of business. Amit, you cannot run away. I started reading. I went back to basics. I understood and this is how every business will run. So multi-skills is the need of hour. It can be a digital. Till date, my team entirely goes through AI and multiple levels of AI now. We go through blockchain, we go through automation. I speak in Hindi. My Tamil guy listens in Tamil. That's how evolution of the skill set has to be done very quickly on a quick pace. I think because I am being in FMCG, I still believe कि वो 10 मिनट में जब घर पे आने लग जाता है ना तो convenience. तो Blinkit and Zepto आ गया. We should also rise quickly, and the speed is the key to success eventually in this entire spectrum of things. That's from my side, Shantanu ji.
I'm so well said. I mean, both of you. I mean, a few things that I noticed. What you said is that हमारे समय में चीजें अलग होती थी. Things have changed now. Employment is no more a lifetime contract. It's like a taxi cab relationship, which is short, which is intimate, but it's also finite with a short duration of time. So employment तो change होता जाता है. That's absolutely true. Second thing, you also talked about the benefit of multidisciplinary learning. Saying that अगर आपको किसी business को किसी चीज को समझना है, then you need to understand from various facets. There are various faces to it, and its business is like an elephant. You need to see it holistically, and that's the way you do that. Now, coming back to you, Satyanarayan sir, NEP 2020 put across a vision document for Indian education system. And it says, it creates an architecture, it creates a pathway for all of us to be able to build learning. We have to build a culture of learning and to build skill sets right from school system. It imagines it's like that. And it talks about a continuum between a prepare, repair, and upgrade. It continuously prepares that in a grade-based system. In that NEP 2020, it also talks about being able to inculcate practical hands-on skills to the people. Now, my question to you, sir, is that you talked about a concept where industry must come to the campus and train kids. My question to you, sir, is do you really believe that it's possible to teach sales or retail sales outside of a retail shop? Or is it possible to teach banking when the kid is not going to a bank? Is it possible to teach manufacturing when the kid is not going to the shop floor? And can it all be simulated in the university? Or do you think that it should, both of them must coexist and there's a value to on the site learning also? What do you think, sir?
Sure, thank you for asking wonderful question. मैं भी अमित सर की तरह हिंदी मीडियम का स्टूडेंट हूँ और मैं आईआईटी का एल्यूमिनाई हूँ. So what I have observed, sir, I said that industry should come to institute. It will be joint collaboration. In the sense, आपने कहा कि should they bring that marketing concept, sales concepts in the institute itself? Sir, it is highly difficult. You train them on what is required for a student to learn in sales. What is very, very important to learn in the field of marketing, and then give them internship in their own company way back. Of course, the industry must be ready to take the risk that this candidate who is training in our company at times may fail. But at the same time, in the institution, they should give him sufficient practical hands-on knowledge with proper hand holding. Means उसका जो है ऐसा होना चाहिए कि वो बच्चा जो है ऐसा न लगे उसके जब वो एक्चुअल मार्केटिंग में जाएगा एज ए ट्रेनी, वो बिल्कुल नवोड़े की तरह नहीं रहना चाहिए. मतलब ही शुड बी फीलिंग यस आई हैव गॉट सम स्किल trained by industry people, professionals. I am confident. इस कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ में वो जाए और सीखे धीरे धीरे. पहले let him observe the process, let him slowly start his interaction in the industry and all. तो एनईपी में गाइडलाइन तो दे दिया गया है कि प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज उनका इंप्रूव कीजिए, बट हाउ? दिस इज हाउ इट कैन बी डन. So take them back. अभी क्या होता है, current scenario is students or the college placement head will interact with the industry and seek permission to send some of the candidates for internship, not knowing that whether this student is ready for that kind of internship, whether he or she is having right kind of knowledge to pursue that internship. कई बार मैंने ऐसे देखा है कि मैं इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज का प्रिंसिपल था, तो बच्चा गया है और वो समझ में आ गया कि उसको ये मेरे से होगा नहीं, तो भाग के आ गया. तो और कुछ बच्चे जो है सिंपली दे एक्सेल्ड इन दैट पर्टिकुलर. तो ये जो एडेप्टेबिलिटी है, लर्निंग जो लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग का चीज है, ये सब चीज जो है ओवरनाइट नहीं आता है. यू हैव टू बी मल्टीफेरस. और एक चीज और बोल रहे थे कि द कैंडिडेट्स नाउअडेज शुड बी वर्सेटाइल. अगर आप पुराना जमाना भी देखेंगे, मतलब महाभारत का टाइम देखेंगे, तो पीपल वेर वेरी वर्सेटाइल. अब वो जो दैट कॉन्सेप्ट वी आर नॉट यूजिंग. महाभारत, इफ यू सी पांडवास व्हेन दे वेंट टू वनवास and there was 1 year of agyatwas, so Bhima became cook. He was an excellent cook, and Yudhishthira became say the person who can give right decisions of administrator. He took the role of administrator. This Arjuna became Brihannala, dance master. And they, like this, Nakul and Sahadev also, so they survived that Agyatavasam by professing something different, which was not their original, trade. तो ये तो शास्त्रों में शुरुआती से चला आ रहा है कि क्या बोलते हैं, आपको मल्टीफेरस होना जरूरी है, and which we have forgotten in these years. Were ruled by other people and all, and started doing their works, this, that, and all. So we have forgotten ourselves as Indians. Now we are trying to get back to that particular field. तो मैं चाहता हूं कि इंडस्ट्री आए, उनको जिस प्रकार का ट्रेनिंग, वो सेंटर ऑफ एक्सेलेंस खोले, and then the way they want the candidates, students, unko select kare right process, what kind of attitude the student should have, what kind of skill the student should have, what kind of knowledge student should have. So this I call it as ask technique: attitude, skill, and knowledge. Ask. So they should ask for right candidate from the institution and start training them from beginning, giving them opportunity to pursue their internship in their own actual field. And this way, by the end of 3 or 4 years, they will see, I mean to say, these people will start performing from day one. ये मेरा विचार है. Thank you.
So nicely said, Mr. Jawar. That brings me to my next question to you now. See, since COVID, we have all seen that the world is becoming definitely uncertain, driven by, say, automation, digitization, or digitalization. Every single business model is today is getting disrupted. चाहे वो education हो, आपका FMCG हो, food हो, is hospitality हो, medical sciences हो, energy हो, every single industry I can think of is getting disrupted today from a legacy system to a different system. That's happening. What has come out of this for employers, all of us, both you and me, is that in today's world, it's just not productivity, but resilience, which is also becoming important. Both of you are saying the same thing.
Correct.
आपने ये तो बता दिया सर कि बच्चों में चाहिए क्या. आपने बताया उसका एडेप्टेबिलिटी चाहिए, उसको वैल्यू सिस्टम्स चाहिए, उसको नॉलेज चाहिए, स्किल चाहिए. आपने सब बताया. The question that I have to ask you, Mr. Jawar, is what should students do? How do they get this skill set? So करें क्या? What is your advice to them? As a fresher, if I'm studying in a college, I have limited control in the syllabus, in the curriculum. What should I be doing proactively from my side so that I become an interesting candidate when I sit across you for an interview?
So first thing I always tell any student when I visit any college is identify what are your core values and core strength. SWOT analysis we do yourself your own brand. Assume that you are a person. What is your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats for yourself? So for me, if I would have been a Hindi medium guy, I would tell ki for me an opportunity is there or a threat that I may somewhere if I don't learn differentiated languages, that's a threat for me. So that's what I put up when I put up my own SWOT as a person or as a brand, what I do. So first thing is knowing yourself, where are you right now? The second thing is you need to really understand ki what are the different set of opportunities when I graduate will be there in the market and where my value set fits in. If I tell you, trust me, sir, if I would have gone in a consultancy, I would have been a bad consultant because I was not a good communicator because my language skill sets were not that proven, which I have been over the years. I would have developed it. At that time, I was not that great. I would have shied away from speaking with couple of peoples only in front of them. So then just that because consultants used to pay significant amount of monies or investment bankers used to get, I never sat in any of the placement across them. So second is identifying what your core strength is and where do you want to go. Don't run behind the money, run behind the values. होता है ना, कामयाबी और उनके पीछे स्किल सेट के पीछे जाओ, कामयाबी तो अपने आप आ ही जाएगी बाद में. तो that's the second point. Third thing is how do they do it? See, over the years I have seen if my strength was sales, na, sir, trust me, I would have interacted with many sales professionals over the years, would have connected with them, would have read through every article, what is FMCG doing, what is other industry doing, FMCD doing, what is in Whirlpool doing, what is in Kelvinator doing, why it didn't go bankrupt, studying about this. This is called secondary research during their education time. When I speak, when I go to placement, I tell sir, मेरा सबका interest FMCG में होता है. FMCG में क्या चल रहा है पिछले 1 साल के अंदर किसी को पता नहीं है. They cannot run away by telling that my interest is A, B, C, D, and without even earlier we didn't have the technology to even guide us. Now you can go on Perplexity and get everything in one click. Who is stopping them from doing this? This is their inner self. The third is knowing about something which you are getting into. It is like कुरुक्षेत्र में जाने से पहले एटलीस्ट पढ़ तो ले क्या कर रहे हैं, एंटर करना है, जीतने के लिए करना है. Now the fourth is when you got identify right mentors. Some can be seniors, some can be professors, some can be industry experts also. Still, there would be many people. I would get many WhatsApp, LinkedIn messages. मेरे जैसे और भी लोग होंगे. He has to connect with many people and understand in this social networking era, post-COVID world. I have seen that, see, staying among 4 friends, you cannot understand what is happening in A, B, C, D in Delhi or in Mumbai or in industry. The first is getting a secondary research. Second, identifying mentors. Third is now identifying where do I land into. The fifth point, which I come very clearly, I feel is that adaptability. When they start any job, don't think that money is an outcome for me. I will tell you, when I would have started a job, I got in sales the low package which I used to get post engineering. So I being a graduate of NIT, doing a great work, I did an MBA and I took sales because it was my passion. So identifying what you want to do. Paisa is an outcome. I'm telling you that it will come, definitely it will come. Till the time you are sticking to your passion. So you have to become a Virat Kohli of your skill set. You don't eventually think कि मैं क्रिकेट खेल रहा हूँ, पैशन हॉबी है मेरा, उस हॉबी नहीं चलता. देन यू हैव टू बिकम विराट कोहली और रोहित शर्मा. पुल शॉट का फिर रोहित शर्मा बन जाओ, कवर ड्राइव का विराट कोहली बन जाओ. Then post that you have identified what you have done after all this research of multiple 4 points which I said, then magic lies post that. Then I think Messi ho, Cristiano Ronaldo, then they don't run away from this something. Then till 12, if I sit in office, I love what I'm doing. And I find out people run for, वो पहले पॉइंट पे गलत करते हैं, अपना SWOT एनालिसिस सही नहीं किया है, जॉब भी सही नहीं लिया है, तो देन तो यू आउटराइटली गाइडेड एंटायर रॉन्ग थिंग. मेंटर ने बोला है कि यार पैसा कहाँ मिलेगा, पैसा बैंकिंग में अच्छा मिलेगा, चले जाएंगे बैंकिंग में. None of them had an interest in banking. Eventually they landed with some other company, then they went into procurement, then they went into this. You destroy your career. And I'm telling you, every 1 year counts. If they go 5 years behind, then when you fight, then you fight with youngsters who are coming up with that mindset, and then you are 6 years behind. वो अपने आप में पहले मेंटली बंदा ना टूट जाता है शांतनु जी, जब वो देखता है कि यार मेरे से एक यंग बंदा मेरे से ग्रेड में ऊपर चला गया इस कंपनी के अंदर. वो रोज ऑफिस में जाता है बस्ता उठा के टू वर्क विद नॉट दैट स्किल सेट. That's where I think the start to end doesn't fall in place. Trust me, I've seen this with my experience of over the years. I stayed loyal to sales and marketing. There were options which came up. You should try manufacturing, you should try procurement. No, if this is my forte, I'll become neurosurgeon of this sales and marketing. I'll not move around this. And I think that's what I find missing in today's people. And trust me, iske alawa, it is all about, if I learn about maximum things which you want to do. It is a job, if you, let us assume, I will take an example. अगर किसी को सेल्स करना है, तो सेल्स में फिर एक सेल्स नहीं है, फिर वो किसी दुकान में जाके उसे ऑब्जर्व करे कि कैसे सेल्स बाकी जगह पे हो रही है. On the floor, till every Sunday, I'm telling you, every Sunday 11 to 12, I stand at one retail outlet. I'll go to a top supermarket and stand and observe consumers, what are they buying. Why is he buying 1 kg pack and why is he buying an 850 ml oil? उसने 5 लीटर का ऑयल क्यों खरीदा? I'll speak with them. Then you don't run away कि यार, then there is nothing that you look behind that. So I think these are certain facets which I feel that a person has to do. मतलब करे क्या, मतलब तो करना तो खुद ही पड़ेगा. No one will help him. ठीक है, किसी ने उसको साइकिल चलाना, साइकिल हाथ में दी थी, 2 बार गिरा था, सीख गया था. बाइक चलाना भी उसे किसी ने, दोस्तों ने, मेंटर ने सिखाया होगा, उसका फिर गिरा होगा, एक आध बार एक्सीडेंट हुआ होगा, 2 बार लड़ी हुई होगी. वो कॉन्फिडेंस तो अंदर से ही लाना पड़ेगा. ही हैज टू गेट दैट कॉन्फिडेंस हिमसेल्फ. एंड द थर्ड इज देन इवेंचुअली इन दिस वूका वर्ल्ड विच यू स्पोक, जस्ट टू समराइज, see, things will change. There is no guarantee something which will work will always work. Jobs will come, jobs will go. But one thing I have seen over the years, ki someone when he goes behind, he has to not give up. I am from Pratapgarh, Rajasthan. I always tell Maharana Pratap, till 100 years there were chance that Mughals took up entire India from Afghanistan till Bihar and till down south. But one thing was very clear, that Mewar Samrajya didn't give up. So then there would be many things which will come up, I think. And I have seen my kid who is 10-year-old, he gives up very quickly. This new generation ना, जो डिजिटल जनरेशन, ये इंस्टाग्राम जैसा, इनको लगता है कि 1 साल में गिव अप मार दो, 2 साल में कुछ और कर दो. सॉरी टू यूज दैट वर्ड, बट आई हैव सीन दिस इन माय किड इटसेल्फ. आई विल नॉट टेल. He would have changed his 4 hobbies in last 5 years. He would have started from basketball, went on to badminton, then he started cricket, now he's playing table tennis. मैं बोलता भाई एक के साथ टिक जाओ. 5 साल में you would have stayed with basketball only alone. You would have grown in basketball, बेटा. But changing skill set, this is just an example. I have seen this over the years, and that's what I expect. Ki young grads na, they should stick back. Career is not 1 day or 2 day. Career is 30-year long journey.
Yeah.
It is not one lap. This is 30 years long journey, 35 years long journey. मेरे दादाजी एक ही स्कूल से 30 साल बाद, he was a principal. He retired from the same government school as a principal. 35 years. My father is a businessman who is doing the same stuff from last 40 years. वो सुबह बिजनेस खोलते हैं, 9 बजे शटर खोलते हैं, and he works on that shop. तो nothing, life changes. मतलब कि सर मुझे आज ये चाहिए तो आज ये चेंज हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता. And I think that's the missing part in the entire scheme of things, sir.
I mean, nicely said. I think you talked about focus. You talked about agency. You talked about initiative. You talked about your own, research work that you do yourself, so that you train yourself continuously, and nobody. I mean, you need to help yourself before others help you. Well said, Satyanarayan sir. coming back to you now.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in the Mahabharata world that you talked about, that time, learning used to be unidirectional. There was a guru and there was a shishya, and the learning used to be top down. Guru used to pass knowledge. In today's world, learning is in the air. We learning from our mentors, our gurus. We learn from peers. We learn self-learning. Learning is in the air. You need to just pick up learning. And NEP 2020 also talked about the equivalence of online learning, on-campus learning, on-the-job learning, and on-site learning. Talked about equivalence. You do anywhere, the degree remains the same. Learning is in the air these days. In a scenario like this, and when he talked about the concept of hybrid learning, where there's some part of the learning happens in the campus, student goes few days in the campus to learn the theory from the professors. They learn something online because they can go to the LMS of the university and learn from the pre-recorded reading material, videos, stuff like that. They can go to a Coursera, Udemy, and pick up some additional courses and learn. Jawar Saab talked about own research, go to Perplexity and learn something there. So there's learning online, and there's a lot of learning happen on the job. He talked about how students need to go and observe, go to a real retail shop to understand how FMCG works. I mean, he talked about that. And learning is happening at all the places. It's not only at one single classroom now. In the same context, UGC brought out this new regulation guidelines for universities about apprenticeship embedded degree programs, which are like work embedded degree program, which has got the on-the-job learning embedded inside with right credits and everything else. So the students learn from multiple places, making them a thorough professional. What is your perspective on the concept of work-linked degrees, or something which has got apprenticeship or internship linked degrees?
Yes, rightly asked about the current scenario. जैसा आपने कहा कि बच्चों के पास आज जो है ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन इज अवेलेबल विदाउट ए गाइडलाइन हाउ टू चूज द राइट इंफॉर्मेशन. तो ये जो पार्ट जो है ना कि वो इंफॉर्मेशन हाउ टू प्रोसेस दिस ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट इज फ्लोटिंग अराउंड, and how to imbibe that particular thing into self and start growing in a particular direction, or multi skilling karna hai, kya karna hai, to right guidance is not happening. Now this work link thing I have seen in some of the industries. Now what they are doing, they are tying up with some good institutions, and what they are doing is they are taking the students at very young age, at diploma level, at a BSc level kind of thing, and then they tell these what I meant to say institutions, university, to orient their courses towards what is the requirement of the industry. And the students, what they are expected is, what I mean to say, these students are joining the company, and then they are joining this particular program from university. And for 5 days a week, they are in industry. They are getting trained in what is required by the industry. And this institution, which say university, which has come to the industry for teaching, they orient or they make the course structure to match the requirement of the industry thoroughly, and start teaching the students in practicals, theories, which will suit to the requirement of industry directly. Now, this way, suppose they are doing some MBA course or BTech course or MTech course while being in campus, these students are learning at the same time. They have exposure to use that knowledge, what they have got, what skill they have got, to use it in industry simultaneously. I mean to say, there is no delay. Like current scenario, a traditional scenario is they are learning something for 4 years and coming to industry, forgetting some of the concepts, what they have learned. And then again, they have to be trained, and again, they start getting into the field. So there is a huge delay. मेरा सिनेरियो ये है कि ये वर्क लिंक में क्या हो रहा है कि इट इज विन विन सिचुएशन फॉर द यूनिवर्सिटी, फॉर द इंडस्ट्री, फॉर द स्टूडेंट. स्टूडेंट को जो है वो एनवायरनमेंट मिल रहा है इंडस्ट्री वाला, उसको पेमेंट भी मिल रहा है, उसको सीखने के लिए भी मिल रहा है, and then industry is giving very less amount of stipend, but at the same time giving the right training through the university or this thing what they require actually. तो उन्होंने उस तरीके का, it is a true collaboration of industry and academia joining together to build the skill that is required by the industry. और इसमें क्या हो रहा है, 3-4 साल में इतना रेडीमेड, practical oriented, creative minds, those who are having experiential learning, equipped with experiential learning, they are getting. एंड वो इंटर्नशिप के लिए, इंक्यूबेशन के लिए सारे आइडियाज आते हैं, क्योंकि द पर्सन इज डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड विद इंडस्ट्री, और वहां पे वो अपना आइडिया रखेगा जो उसने सीखा हुआ है. एंड पीपल विल बी देयर इन इंडस्ट्री टू लुक फॉर हाउ टू मेक द ड्रीम ऑफ द बॉय और गर्ल to come true by creating that kind of environment. So incubation happens in work linked programs, learning programs. Then internship happens there, then job also happens. तो जो 4 साल जो है ये बच्चा वहां पे सीख लेता है, या 3 साल सीख लेता है, या 2 साल सीख लेता है, he or she gets complete practical skilled experience. And in this year he may be working in multiple departments, नॉट 1 or 2 डिपार्टमेंट. जैसे सर कह रहे थे, अमित सर, कि मार्केटिंग में, सेल्स में, फिनेंस में, तो वो 2 साल का अगर एमबीए कर रहा है तो 2 साल में वो इंडस्ट्री में जो है फिनेंस सेक्शन है वहां पे भी काम करने को मिलेगा, एचआर में भी काम करने को मिलेगा, मार्केटिंग में भी काम करने को मिलेगा, मे बी डेटा एनालिटिक्स है तो वहां पे भी काम करने को मिलेगा. सो एंड देन ही कैन डिसाइड, यस माय कोर स्ट्रेंथ लाइज हियर इन दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस. Or 4 years of training, he will understand himself that this is my core skill by working in many departments right from beginning. तो वो उतना सारा जो है avenues मिल रहा है. तो this is what my view. If we
So this is, I mean, in a short, you have actually told kids what they must be doing. I mean,
yes,
ये बहुत अच्छी बात बताई sir, that this part and this engagement with the industry, mate, works like a test drive, where they can test multiple departments and then focus on one thing which meets their heart's bearing. Jawar साहब, मुझे एक दूसरा क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा था. So our reputation at TeamLease has been that over the last 10 years, we have been placing one person every 5 minutes in this country. But the challenge is that when I meet any CEO, their biggest problem is that they can't find the people to fill up their open positions. उनको कहना है कि उनको लोग मिलते ही नहीं, अच्छे लोग मिलते ही नहीं. That's the problem. The question that I have to ask you, sir, is that Professor Satyanarayan spoke about this concept of co-parented program, जिसमें कुछ तो यूनिवर्सिटी पढ़ाएगी, कुछ एजुकेशन, कुछ एम्प्लॉयर पढ़ाएगा, कुल मिला के बच्चा एम्प्लॉयबल तैयार होगा. The kids are ultimately going to be consumed by the industry. The question that I have to ask you, sir, is that do you think that the industry is today ready and willing to come forward to participate in the process of manufacturing their own employees? Is the industry ready there?
So I think I'll try to give some brief before I answer this, I think, most deadly question. I think okay, so because I have to own entire industry, I think, on this part. So I'll tell one thing, couple of things. I think, see, this is not a one-sided affair. I think colleges and industry both has to come together first of all. Okay. Now, if it can be multiple functions, it can be multiple set of people. It is like typical college tying up with 20 companies, and then 20 companies tying up with different 20 colleges also, that I will hire 5-10 people, I'll train them for next 2-3 years. It is like typical, I speak, I from IRMA, I speak that public private partnership hota tha. ठीक है ना? तो if you'll see now, all the metros are typically Pidilite Metro, Andheri station, then that's how it has been. So till the time we both come together, that will not work well. The first thing is that every college has to identify the list of companies which suits their need. Maybe what is the strength of college? If they are good at consulting, they will identify multiple consulting companies, and then they will put up that 4-5 years, 2-3 years, whatever our duration is. we'll try and put up the people set with 2 months. So then the course curriculum has to be some more additional because their credits of education should not come down. तो हो सकता है वो जो अभी 6 घंटे की क्लास हो रही है that will become in 7.5 hours, and that 1.5 hours will move eventually for a 2 months 3 duration internship during this. So that's one thing, because eventually if we have to both co-partner this program, then this has to be done with a much larger goal. I think every college has to create it, because every college works in very different fashion. I have seen over the year, someone will do an internship from July to August, someone will do it from May to June, someone will do for 6 months from April to the July. इंडिया की हर यूनिवर्सिटी के अपने नियम है सर, टू बी फ्रैंक विथ यू, दैट्स वेयर द इंडस्ट्री फाइंड्स द प्रॉब्लम.
Yes.
टेलिंग फ्रॉम देयर साइड की curate this, भैया हम we cannot have entire year, we have our own goals for profitability for an organization. So we are not a training organization, we are a business driven organization, sir. Every organization would have business goals also. Training would be a part of human resource, which I think sir we would take care of, but that cannot be our core job, sir. तो दोनों तरीके से रहेगा. फर्स्ट सेकंड थिंग दैट इफ यू वांट, then this is the duration, then entire course should be planned in such a way that we should have this 4 months when we will put our different verticals also accordingly, because they will also disproportionately put energy. A finance team will put an energy, because spending also guiding them, coaching them would require some amount of energy and some amount of time also, additional time or additional working on. So we
सर
need to
मुझे
plan
एक
our
बात इसमें
working.
ऐड करनी थी आपके पास, एक
हाँ
बार
जी सर.
क्वेश्चन में मेरे को लग रहा है, मुझे मैं थोड़ा ठीक समझ नहीं रहा हूँ सर. ऐसा भी होता है कि many corporates today consider these kids who are coming in from universities for long duration internship or apprenticeship as a talent supply pool for them. So for example, let's say there are about 200 kids coming to you from any university which you like, and are doing a BBA in sales का course कर रहे हैं, they're joining you. You are not just investing in training them, you are also actually, while they're getting trained, they're also a part of your workforce. They actually do
Correct.
sales for you, right?
Correct.
I mean, the benefit to you also is the fact that you get cheaper resource because उनको provident fund नहीं देना पड़ता है. प्रोफेसर सत्यनारायण जी ने कहा था आप उनको stipend full salary नहीं देते हो, so there's a cost saving, but you get extra hands and legs. जैसे आपका festive time आ रहा है अभी.
Absolutely correct.
There are
Yes,
so many FMCG companies who work with us, and all the names that you took,
Yes,
where
sir.
they take thousands of students from universities who work as apprentices 6
Correct,
महीने
sir.
graduation के लिए, जो आपके लिए extra hands and legs होते हैं, but
Correct,
बच्चे के लिए
sir.
experience होता है, उनके लिए earning होती है, यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए वो internship होता है,
Correct.
credit learning होती है. आपका क्या सोचना है उस बारे में?
Sir, so I will tell you, we engage in multiple ways. First is, I think, live projects. One is internship, which we do for 2 months. Second is the live projects, which we give them. Third is, I think, event-based projects, which you spoke about, Diwali, Dashera, Rakhi, when we give. And the fourth is campus brand ambassadors. We appoint many people in the campus who act as our brand ambassadors eventually. So they will understand. So these four are different part where we'll train a guy. And eventually, I think 99% cases, to be frank with you, we would have recruited a guy who would have worked in either my organization or either a similar FMCG company. He would have worked in a Dabur or in an X company or another Y company, who would have trained him in similar fashion. That sets the strength for most our. If I will train, some other company will hire him if I may not hire him. So that's where I think the co-partnership works. It is not that one I will hire, then I will train, and all 200 I will hire, because eventually that's not how it runs. If I train them, maybe some other company which is not training right now,
Sure.
they may hire him, because ultimately that's how this entire CV becomes. So of a guy,
Absolutely.
if a student becomes up. And live projects, sir, to be frank with you, I always tell 1 month, 1.5 month live project is something which a candidate should definitely do. 2 to 3 live projects he has to do. He have to do. Matlab, there is no chance ki he should run away from that. College should make it mandatory in a sales course, in a finance course, or maybe in a operations course. 3 courses. One is manufacturing. He has to go identify a factory, visit there, क्या production है, what is the output, what is the last 3 month rolling plan and everything, so that he learns operations. Second is finance. He should work in any banking sector, understand how is finance running. And the third is the sales and marketing. I think ये
बहुत अच्छा.
3 live projects तो by default होने चाहिए. ये value set ही सिखा देगा. Else he will not get a job, I don't know, I'm sure. But the moment he goes there, he understands deadlines, what are the deadlines and what are the different things which industry goes through. Because
Yeah.
that's how he will become a candidate, will become more employable, workplace ready eventually, which we eventually think. And then
From
eventually, yes, sir.
Yeah, from an employer perspective, so there's also one more benefit that I see, that today Government of India allows you to use your CSR funds to pay the stipend of these kids.
Correct.
Which means that ये तो आपके payroll खर्चे बचा देता है ultimately.
बिल्कुल.
I mean, it's a win-win for everyone.
Correct.
Obviously. Now coming back to you, Professor Satyanarayan, you actually alluded to one more important aspect of this entire program. You talked about the fact that these kids also get a monthly stipend while they're interning or apprenticing with the employer. It may not be full salary, but it's okay to get a small stipend. A lot of professions like chartered accountancy ho या medical sciences ho, where the internship is compulsory embedded in the program. उसके बिना chartered accountant कोई बनता ही नहीं है. And the kids who are doing the inter CA part of it, they don't bother about the amount of money I get, but they bother about the experience that I'm learning from a senior professionals. Now, but I see it on different perspectives, sir. Now, I've started noticing India scale mein. There are close to about 3 crore kids who takes class 10th examinations every year in India. But I also see that 2 saal ke baad, all these 3 crore kids should have ended up in college. But only 1 crore kids ends up in college. There is 2 crore kid drops out. That means 67% kids drop between class 10th and college. Now, one of our surveys in TeamLease says that a large part of the kids drop out because of financial constraints. They can't afford higher education or they need to earn for their family. Now, this concept of work-linked learning where they're getting a monthly stipend, do you think that it has got a potential to arrest some part of this dropout because kids will be able to afford learning, they can finance their own course fees and maybe save something for their family? Do you think it can have a larger societal impact also?
Yes, thank you, Shantanu-ji, and I would like to thank even Amit sir for speaking industry perspective. I worked in industry for 3 years, around 3.5 years, and found that I am not much suitable for industry. The kind of mails and all, I used to respond 90, 100 mails. So I thought that maybe this is not my forte. Now coming to your question, Shantanu-ji, I would like to tell that, Indian population, if you see, 65% of our population stays in village. 65%, that's massive chunk. And most of these villages are, of course, now it has become bit better. But, because of this information technology percolating over there in villages and all, इनके जाने से काफी फर्क पड़ा है. पर इनकम में कई जगह ऐसे हैं कि बहुत ज्यादा यानी फर्क नहीं पड़ा है. मतलब गवर्नमेंट को आज भी जो है कई लोगों को फ्री फूड देना पड़ रहा है, फ्री कुछ करना पड़ रहा है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी देना पड़ रहा है. दे आर ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ट टू enable the people or population who is there in rural India, and they are the actual power. Rural Indian people are the actual power for any country, because these are the people who are loyal to the country. They never leave their rural area. If industries decide to take such people by giving some small amount of payment to take care of their family needs, their self needs, and training them from beginning, as you said, rightly pointed out, this problem of dropping out will definitely drastically reduce. But then create awareness in the rural areas, stating that these are the avenues, these are the industries, these are the kinds of skills which are, required by the industry, and these are the various avenues for various types of people, means young people. So that kind of awareness you create, and this work link program definitely is going to add huge value to the country's knowledge base, country's productivity, country's dream of becoming big, will be there, because these people who stay in village, they don't want to leave. It is not that they cannot leave. It is because of constraints that they are, subjected to. तो उनको वो constraint थोड़ा हटा दीजिए, वो limitation हटा दीजिए, और फिर देखिए कि how do they perform. Because I can tell about myself. I belong to a place which was totally tribal area, where, with 60 houses in that particular village, 60 houses, 60 families, and total population was around 200, around 200. I don't say that, it may be little higher or little lower. और हमारे जो पिताजी थे, वो ही was an engineer but could do nothing, because learning resources are not there around, but he is forced to work in that place, in that particular village. You got the idea? And we were with him. So lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of resources, avenues, ये हुआ. फिर जैसे ही बाहर आए, धीरे धीरे हमारे यानी एवेन्यूज खुलने लगे, नॉलेज बढ़ने लगा, स्किल बढ़ने लगा, धीरे धीरे we started growing. Why not industry can think they have now requirement that 2% of their funding, whatever profit is there, that should be CSR amount. Let them go to village, identify the right kind of people that are that you think industry thinks that they will match the requirements, recruit them, give them small internship, teach them, enable them, and make them multi-skilled, and then see the kind of change that will bring in India. Huge change can happen this way.
Yeah.
If industry, villages, institutes, they all should come together. And there is a term in English called as collaboration, सहयोग. तो इससे जो है पूरा चेंज कर दिया जा सकता है. जैसे मैंने अपने बच्चे को देखा है, ही इज इन यूएसए, सो ही टेल्स दैट प्लेस वेयर ही हैज स्टडीड. वो बोलता है कि इंडस्ट्री हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट में है, वो आके उन्होंने लैब्स एस्टेब्लिश किया, हमको काम करने का मौका मिलता है. तो यहाँ पे टायर 1 और टायर 2 कॉलेजेस को मिलेगा, पर टायर 3, टायर 4 कॉलेजेस को तो मिलता ही नहीं है, उनको तो कोई ड्रीम ही नहीं है.
बहुत सही बोला.
मैं चाहता हूं कि ये अगर इंडस्ट्री अपना वो 2% में से कम 2% में से 25%, जैसे अगर उनका फंड है 45 करोड़ या 50 करोड़ ले लीजिए, 50 करोड़ में 2% जो है, 20% जो है, वो जो है ये रूरल एरिया में इन्वेस्ट करें.
बहुत सही.
और फिर देखिए चेंज क्या होता है through work link program.
You speak
so thank
so
you.
well. You speak so well. I mean, I got emotional when he talked about कि इनको थोड़ा मौका देकर तो देखो,
yes,
की चिड़िया फिर से उड़ेगी. बहुत
जी,
अच्छा. Very very well said. I mean,
पंख है, सब है सर, पर
collaboration,
उनको हवा
and
नहीं
you
है,
brought a
उनको
new
environment.
aspect. And you brought a new aspect to this collaboration. Industry, academia, and Indian villages can create the magic. Very well said. Very well said.
Yes.
I know that both of you have a hard stop at 1:20. So my last question to you, Mr. Jawar, is that इन्होंने सर बताया कि किस तरह से ये कॉन्सेप्ट जहां पर ये कोलैबोरेशन होता है, ये मैजिक क्रिएट कर सकता है इंडिया के लिए. और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने जो कहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ विकसित भारत का ड्रीम, ये शायद पहुंचने के लिए आसान बना सकता है हमारे लिए. व्हाट इन योर माइंड, अगर इस कोलैबोरेशन को काम करना है, इसको चलाना है आगे जाते हुए, व्हाट इज दैट वन थिंग दैट यू थिंक इफ चेंज्ड, दिस थिंग विल पॉसिबली वर्क मच बेटर देन व्हाट इट इज डूइंग टुडे?
I think entrepreneurship push by industries also will be required. I think one change which I see with Startup India, and I think as said, okay, matlab, so entrepreneurship is still not a good word in Indian ecosystem till date. Colleges उसे नहीं पढ़ाते इतना, वो degrees पढ़ा देंगे, subjects पढ़ा देंगे, entrepreneurship नहीं पढ़ाते. If you have asked me one point, I would say if I was in an MBA and I would have had multiple ideas at that time. My professor used to tell कि India में दवाइयाँ कैसे online बिकेगी. And I started a startup way back in 2010 when I used to take order on WhatsApp or phone and used to supply medicines. तो they said ऐसे ये दवाइयाँ नहीं बिकेगी, someone will die, what will you do? तो I think to be frank with you sir, ना इंडिया में entrepreneurship push को इतना मिलता नहीं. What in a US or in another ecosystem ना where we compare with their developed economy, that is a very differentiated factor I think. So I think that one thing I still believe can change. Other than this, I think research, technological part, integration in the curriculum, this all are subsidiaries. But I think that one value set, if you want to change, because job नहीं करना, job create करना है, वो एक important angle होता है हर बंदे के लिए. So I think that's where I think with all these MSMEs are coming up, I think government is giving mudra loans. I think I've seen this multiple times when I've seen that someone would have started ABC. और इंडिया में सर एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी इन दिल्ली, चेन्नई, मुंबई, बैंगलोर कैन क्रिएट. इंडिया itself is so vast that someone somewhere sitting there, उधर उसका एक particular one district, one product are there. And I go through many of these things when I travel across the India during my market visits. So I think that single thing, if it works well, I think that will change the entire India's spectrum. और विकसित भारत तभी आएगा जब everyone plays the role. I think not one-sided. I think industry, academia, people, and everything is that eventually the entire country goes together. I think that's it, sir.
Both of you speak so well. लगता है सुनते ही चले जाएं, sir. You talked so well, saying that India just doesn't need job seekers but also job creators. And दूसरी बात आपने ये बताई कि urbanization of India is not about putting more people into Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore, but ensure that Bombay, Delhi, and Bangalore हर गांव में create हो.
Correct.
बड़ी अच्छी बातें बताई. So thank you so much for both of you for joining us on this discussion today.
Thank you, sir.
I really
Thank
love
you.
this conversation, and I'm sure our audience will also love this communication from all of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Shantanu ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Satyanarayan.
Shantanu ji. Thank you, Amit ji.